Welcome to another Todd's
2-Minute Tech Tip Tuesday.
Brought to you by the National RV Training Academy, the largest hands-on RV training academy in America. Hey, before we get to the video, which I know this is the reason why you're here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss anything. Hit the subscribe button now. Thank you. Now, back to our Tech Tip Tuesday. Hey, this week I'm going to do a little bit deeper dive on the Lumasafe UV light for your air conditioner. All right, so a couple weeks back, actually a couple months back, I did a quick review on a UVC system. Now, this is an ultraviolet light that you actually place in the air conditioner to go ahead and clean off, one, the coils, but go ahead and take care of the bacteria and everything else. We've had great responses, but we also had a few questions, and that's what I want to cover today. So the Lumasafe is an ultraviolet light that actually sits in front of your evaporator coils, and it keeps them, prevents mold and viruses and fungus to grow on those coils, which gives you cleaner air, but also reduces the number of times you need to get there and clean it. There were some questions that came out regarding ultraviolet lights, because of course you can jump online, you can go to Amazon, and you can see a plethora of different UVC lights out there. Now, one, I want to caution you against a lot of those because they have to be calibrated to the purpose, their intended purpose. And we need to make sure that we don't mix up ozone from UVC. Now, first off, UVC is just an ultraviolet light. The radio waves, or the wavelength, the magnetic wavelength of these things fit in the ultraviolet category. Now, before the ultraviolet category, you do have ozone, and we may have heard of ozone before. This is what we use to clear off strong odors inside a building or anything else, but that's kind of more of a dangerous thing. Long exposures to ozone can damage us, right? This is an ultraviolet light, sits at 254 nanometers, perfect for the application of killing off microbes and viruses and everything else. But there's some questions. This particular brand, they calibrated the power of this UVC light to actually match the space of where it's going to be sitting inside the RV. So what does that mean? Typically, when you just buy any old UVC light and you stick it anywhere around a physical object, a filter, plastic, or anything else, it will deteriorate that plastic. It'll deteriorate the materials of your filter and everything else. And that's typically what you would get should you just buy any random UVC light on the market. This one is designed, it's about 1/3 the power, so it's not going to hurt the plastic of the plastic surroundings of your casing for your air conditioner, nor is it going to hurt anything else in there. So what we do with this particular brand, they calibrated it, lowered the power on this, and over time, go ahead and clean off those coils. Now, the great thing is because this is on 24/7, it's hardwired in, and the way it's designed to be hardwired in the junction box, where your air conditioner is actually receiving the power anyway, it's on as long as there's shore power, this is on. Great thing is as well, because of course you have your lower control arm, a lower control unit, you don't see the UV light. The one danger to any type of ultraviolet light is you don't want to look at it, right? Hurt your eyes, everything else. So this is actually designed, it's covered, and it will not hurt any type of structural integrity inside the air conditioner. You buy, something on Amazon that's not intended for that use, whether it's going to have the 185 nanometer wavelength, which is going to be ozone, or if it's too powerful, right? So here's the thing. The reason why I'm saying go with the Lumasafe brand is simply because it's designed, manufactured, and I've been working, with the owner, getting all the information on these things, because of course, if I endorse something, I want to make sure it's absolutely designed for the intended use. And guys, I can tell you, I've been reassured, been chatting with them for months. This is the one that you want. Now, why would we use that? You're saying, Todd, I've never had a problem breathing before inside my RV. And that may be true, right? It all depends on where you're at. What does a UVC light do? So here's the thing, the best way to describe it. Let me set this over here. What does a UV light do, and what do we need it for in the first place? Well, let's look at it this way. You ever look at a tree, and if you look at the north side of the tree, you'll see moss growing on it, right? Because it's constantly shade. Here in America, North America, the sun sits over at the equator, so anytime there's sunlight coming this way, we have shadows on the north side of our trees, walls, and everything else. Well, the lack of that light hitting there, you can get mold and fungus growth. You ever notice the south side of the trees or relatively clear, where there's sunlight, because of course ultraviolet light comes from the sun. Now our ozone layer filters out much of that, right? So we don't get the full version of that. Well, whenever you have moisture, physical objects, anything else, you're going to get mold that builds up. And that's exactly what happens inside our air conditioners, right where our evaporator coils are. Now, it doesn't look like mold because every time you turn it on, you have dust particles going across it. So what it looks like you have building up a lot of times is just dust. How much of that is dust? How much of that is mold buildup? Okay, and that's the question. If I don't have mold buildup, if I don't have the viruses build up, then I also don't have places really for that dust to come through and actually get stuck to, right? So there's less opportunity for that dust to build up. And as we know, and everything I tell you, that airflow is king when it comes to an air conditioner. The more air I can get across those coils, the quicker I can change out the temperature inside your RV, and therefore not having to run the air conditioner as much. But as that warm air that has moisture vapors, humidity, hits that cold surface, we get that water that shows up, right? Condensate. Well, here I have condensate in a dark area 24/7. You're going to see buildup, okay? Now, having this UVC light on, you never see it. It's a very low watt. What it's going to do is clean that off. It's going to keep that clean. Reduces the time it takes for you to get up there twice a year and clean that off. Whether it's once a year, once every 2 years, you get up and you actually clean that out. These light bulbs, they're made of LED, not tungsten, so safer to use whenever you're putting those on. All we got to do is simply clean those. Here's a consideration. If you just want to have a little bit cleaner air and just peace of mind of keeping those coils clean, something you don't have to clean as much, consider using a UVC. I'll tell you, is it for everyone? If you're in a relatively dry area, kind of consider whether you want to do that or not. I'm not saying it's for everyone, but if you are concerned, would like to have a little bit cleaner air, then try the Lumasafe UVC light. If you look down on the link below, you'll see where you can get that. There's your tech tip. All right, before you get to the bloopers, which is why you're here in the first place, the RV industry needs thousands of RV technicians and inspectors, and now is the perfect time to do that. If you want to make more money or have more control over your time, go ahead and click the link below. Or if you just want to learn how to fix your own RV, got something for you there. Head over to rvtechcourse.com and get started today.
Now for the reason that you're at the end of the video, roll the bloopers.
As that warm, relatively dry, humid